All right, let's talk about something you've probably noticed happening in the business world: HR job titles. It's a huge debate right now over what we should call the people who, well, manage the people. So let's just dive right in.
You've definitely seen them floating around. Titles like Chief People Officer, Head of People Operations, maybe even a Culture Ambassador. I mean, it really feels like the classic human resources title is getting a major facelift. But is this just companies trying to sound trendy? Or does it signal something much, much deeper about how they see their employees? And maybe the biggest question of all, does it actually work?
To really get what's happening now, we kind of have to look back. This whole shift in names didn't just pop up overnight. It's actually part of a long evolution in how we think about the role of HR itself.
And you can really see that evolution just by looking at the name changes over time. It all started with the personnel department back in the day, which was pretty much just administrative work. Think paperwork, payroll, compliance. Then, in the 80s, we see the shift to human resources, which signaled a much more strategic role. And that brings us to today, this era of people, where the focus is laser sharp on culture and the whole employee experience.
Okay, but not everyone is on board with this new, friendlier vibe. There's a pretty strong argument that titles like Head of People might actually be a step backward. So let's break down exactly why some people are skeptical.
So, the first big issue is just how vague it is. I mean, when a title is Head of People, who are we even talking about? Is it just the employees? Or are we including customers, partners, the whole community? That lack of clarity can cause some serious confusion about what the job is really all about.
And that leads right into the next point: authority. Look, HR leaders have to make some really tough calls. We're talking restructuring, terminations, enforcing company policy. If your title sounds more like a friendly neighbor than a strategic leader, it could seriously undermine the authority you need to have when those hard moments come up. There's also a problem of focus. Now, don't get me wrong, empathy is absolutely vital. But modern HR is also super reliant on data, on analytics, on strategy. And some critics argue that these new titles just scream soft skills, which can downplay all those other critical data-driven parts of the job. And here's the really ironic part: some of these new titles can actually feel too narrow. Take people operations, for example. It sounds kind of transactional, right? Like you're just operating on people. It can totally miss the bigger picture. Things like talent strategy, building an amazing culture, and managing employee relations.
So with all that criticism out there, let's flip the script. What's the argument for just sticking with the classic human resources? Well, it turns out it's a pretty strong one.
I mean, when you put them side by side, the difference is pretty clear. Where Head of People can feel a little vague and trendy, proponents of human resources say, hey, it's stable, it's clear, and everyone knows what it means. It signals this really broad function that covers everything from A to Z, leaving absolutely no confusion. Ultimately, it really gets down to the meaning of the words themselves. The term human resources makes a really powerful statement. It says that people are an organization's most valuable asset. It frames the entire job not as just managing employees, but as being a steward of the most critical resource a business has.
So is it just a simple choice between old school and new school? Not necessarily. The real goal here isn't just to pick a side in a debate. It's to find a title that actually reflects how strategically important this role is in today's world.
And this search has led to a whole new wave of really strong alternatives. You see titles like Chief Talent Strategist or Organizational Development Director. Right away, you know what that person's key focus is. They're specific, they sound authoritative, and they're definitely forward-looking.
So what's the key takeaway? Well, it seems like the best titles are the ones that manage to do both things at once. They keep the clarity of the traditional titles, but they also highlight that modern strategic focus on things like talent or engagement. They signal purpose without being wishy-washy.
And hey, this isn't just theory. We're seeing it in action at some of the world's biggest companies. Netflix has a chief talent officer. No ambiguity there, right? It's all about talent. Zappos has a culture ambassador, which perfectly reflects their famous focus on company culture. And Airbnb, a chief belonging officer, which sends a crystal clear message about their commitment to diversity and inclusion. See? Creative and purposeful.
Which brings us right to our final thought for you. A job title is so much more than just a name on a business card. It's a signal. It tells the world what a company prioritizes and how it sees things. So I'll leave you with this. Take a look at your own organization. What does the title of your HR leader really say about what your company values? It's a simple question, but the answer might tell you a whole lot.